What's the current situation in Ethiopia? The volcanic unrest is taking place about 131 kilometers or 81 miles east of Ethiopia's capital Addis Ababa, around two active volcanoes, Fentale and Dofan. Beneath the ground, a massive magma dike or a body of molten rock is pushing its way up. This magma dike stretches about 35 kilometers or 21.7 miles, causing significant pressure in the region. As the magma rises, it is pushing the Earth's surface up, creating large cracks and triggering several earthquakes. These earthquakes are registering at magnitudes of 4 and 5, which are moderate but still strong enough to cause damage. In an area where most buildings are made of concrete or brick, 30 buildings have already collapsed and hundreds more have been damaged. This level of seismic activity alone is enough reason for authorities to begin evacuations in the surrounding areas. Even if a volcanic eruption does not occur, these earthquakes pose a major risk to the people living there. Why is this a bigger risk than it appears? You might think earthquakes happen all the time, and not every quake leads to a volcanic eruption. That's true, but this situation is different. The current seismic activity is likely caused by the movement of magma beneath the surface, which is a much more dangerous scenario. Magma is the source of these quakes, and it's still rising. While earthquakes can happen due to tectonic plate movements here, the magma's movement beneath the surface is causing increased seismic activity. In fact, the number and intensity of the earthquakes have increased every day, which is worrying. Normally, seismic activity might slow down after magma intrusion, but here it's only escalating, a sign that things could get worse. What happened on January 3rd, 2025? The situation escalated further on January 3rd, 2025, when a new vent opened up around 8.4 kilometers or 5.2 miles north-northeast of the Fentale volcano. This vent has been releasing explosions that are sending mud, rock and steam into the air. Based on social media footage, it's still unclear whether this is a violent mud eruption, a hydrothermal explosion, or a more serious phreatic eruption. Let me explain what a phreatic eruption is. It occurs when magma heats the groundwater beneath the surface. As the water turns into steam, the pressure builds up and causes an explosion, sending debris like rocks and dirt into the air. Phreatic eruptions don't release lava, but they are dangerous because they often happen just before a much larger eruption. Although we can't say for sure whether this is a full phreatic eruption or something else, we need to assume the worst-case scenario. The reason for this caution is simple. Due to very limited data, we can't fully understand what's happening beneath the ground. Without sufficient data, it's impossible to rule out the possibility of a major eruption. What challenges are there in monitoring the situation? The reason for this uncertainty is the lack of data. If the situation were happening in an area like Hawaii, there would be a lot of sensors and monitoring systems in place to track what's happening. But in Ethiopia, there is only one seismometer located far from the unrest, which doesn't provide enough information. Additionally, satellite data comes only once every 5 to 6 days, making it difficult to track rapid changes. With so little data, we cannot predict exactly what will happen next, which means we must take every possible precaution to avoid disaster. What could happen next? While the most likely outcome is that the volcanic situation won't escalate into a full eruption, we still cannot be sure. The lack of proper data means it's impossible to predict the future. If an eruption does occur, it's likely to be explosive and could severely impact the surrounding area. If the eruption happens near the newly opened vents, the landscape could be devastated for several miles. Additionally, there is the danger of toxic volcanic gases, which could be deadly for anyone who is too close. The Ethiopian government has already begun evacuating people from the area, but there are still reports of people filming and standing near the dangerous steam-producing vents. If you are in the area, get as far away as possible. These vents could be emitting lethal gases, and they may also be the location where the next eruption happens. A call for caution. I don't want to cause panic, but it's critical that people take this situation seriously. It's always better to overreact than underreact when dealing with potential disasters. Authorities are doing their best to manage the situation, but it is vital that everyone in the area listens to the warnings and stays out of the danger zones. If you live in or near the affected areas, please stay safe. Keep a safe distance from the volcanic vents and don't take unnecessary risks. No one knows exactly what will happen, but it is known that volcanic eruptions can be unpredictable and extremely dangerous. By staying far away from the danger zones, you could be saving your life. Your safety is the most important thing. Take care and stay safe.